So today we're going to be looking at the top 10 players in each position. Mostly in all of the other positions, I haven't chosen icons or heroes until their prices at least subside a little bit, because naturally they are more expensive at the moment, and I can imagine a lot of people are not getting icons. It's just not going to happen. The prices, you're not paying like 400-500k for a Fernando Torres right now. You might as well go with some of the golds. Keeper wise, it's a little bit different because naturally you've got your free keepers. I think these are the only ones you'd really need. Edison with his long ball plus, if you can utilize that in the broken mechanic way it is, then obviously that's going to be brilliant for you. Courtois is outstanding, and Alisson is naturally one of the better prem keepers that you can get in the game. Other than that, the rest of the goalkeepers will be icons because Buffon and Van der Sar seem to be the front runners already this year. Yashin has always been great. Even if you're just playing for his hat, he's always been a fantastic goalkeeper. And then we have the trio of Casillas, Schmeichel and Peter Cech. They always come in at the last, and naturally you'll only get maybe a Donnarumma pop-up every now and then, maybe to Stegen, Oblak, because of the new playstyle pluses, but realistically, this would be the top 10 list for a goalkeeper. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorki, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. But then we go into the right backs then. So we've got all 10 here. What I've tried to do is at least go a little bit of a spread in terms of pricing as well, because naturally if you go some positions, they are going to be very expensive across the board. But from what I've experienced with playing against, playing with, we've seen a fair few right backs. Now, a lot of the time, Walker seems to be the biggest one that is in there. Naturally, 60,000 coins. It's relatively respectable for him, to be honest. Koyunde is a joke. I've come up against him 3-4 times now. I'm in a better division, and he's just stupid. No wonder he's over 115k. Can also play that centre-back role as well, so versatile options. If you do manage to get somebody sent off, then he can do a job in there if you need to. We obviously have got Frimpong. His gold and also his road to the knockout is always fantastic. I'd still probably have him as number 4. He's going to be a card to be reckoned with once more again, because his pace is already up there. 94, all he needs is that defending physical boost, and oh my, he is going to be a card and a half, and obviously a playstyle would be brilliant as well. We also have Hakimi, incredible. We have Lawrence. Not a bad card if you've used her and really tried to see how she is down that wing. She's absolutely brilliant. And obviously when it comes to roles, there is definitely now a significant difference in what roles you want in cards, because when we look at, for instance, someone like Koyunde, the fullback role in plus, false back as a plus. You then look at someone like Delo, they've got wing back. We look at Pedro Porro, attacking wing back and wing back. There is going to be definitely a certain level of importance for that going forward, especially in the next few months once we start getting some of them higher rated cards. People's teams start to hit that point where it's a 1 or 2 player business and you need that R9 or Mbappe to improve your strikers. The role plus will definitely add to that as well. Also with the playstyle plus also, that's going to be the biggest one. It's why, like someone like a Trent, in terms of defending, he's only okay. But that whipped pass plus, the actual ability of what he's got with the false back plus is going to be brilliant for him. Now, it depends on what you want to go for. Obviously, if I wanted a false back, I've got a plus or a plus. Walker's stats in general are going to be better than Trent, so you can still utilize that more. But in terms of a role purpose, Trent would actually do the job better than Walker. But Walker will definitely save you in the defensive style a lot more. And then we've got the likes of Delo, we've got Molina, we've got Dumfries. You've also got the likes of Di Lorenzo is another great one. and you could keep going down a bit further, but I think around this sort of level is kind of like a day one, absolutely. Like you can afford a Pedro Porro very much on day one. 900 coins, you've got to be able to. Now moving into the left back, this is just a quality side to go on. You've got Gravadal coming in with Nuno Mendes. You've also got Ndogi next to him as well. I think he's relatively cheap also at this point. In terms of what we're looking at, 8 to 9,000. He's a Prem player, Italian, so he's going to have that pull as well. Rolfo would be mentioned in this, but I do think she is kind of more based into that centre mid CDM role, which would suit her personally more in comparison to a lot of these left backs as well, especially when we've got the likes of Batcher. You've got Sakina coming in, who is outrageously good. You then got Alaba as potential for a left back or a CDM. I think maybe the midfield could suit him that little bit more with the passing, but you could put him in both positions just if you wanted to actually finish that SBC. But then as you go further up in the groupings, you've obviously got Alfonso, always going to be good, definitely in towards that more wing-back sort of vibe, and then you throw in a little bit of DeMarco, attacking wing-back, and also can play left mid. I would say left-back is going to suit him more. He definitely is a card that, to be honest, I probably would put him down a little bit more, maybe towards a better left back than Alaba, but Alaba as a CDM is sensationally better. And then obviously you've got the two big boys. These are no question really. You've got yourself a Ferland Mendy who's just crazy good, and Teo Hernandez this year again taking that #1 spot. I don't think really that was ever hard to believe. He's coming in at what, about just over 300, I think he is. Again, just outrageously good. He's got the plus with a full spec as well. So if you are rocking that, that's always going to be good. Whereas Ferland Mendy's got the wing back. We've got Sakina with a few of pluses. So that is going to be an interesting one always going forward. I do think centre backs are pretty straightforward this year, I must admit. It's a very easy list for the centre backs. And I think in terms of what I would go for, maybe I'd probably keep it like that. The only one that I could question at this point is if Van der Ven is better than Saliba, but I don't know if that's just purely pace basis. I think this would be the easiest top 10 centre-back list going. Marquinhos throws himself in. I think I'm being pretty lenient with him that he's one under Konate, but Konate is an absolute monster. Like, genuinely, for what you pay of both of them, they are good centre-backs to get. They're not necessarily too expensive. They are solid at that back line. Maybe, yes, they don't have that appeal of 80-plus pace, but they're not far off. You've obviously got the intercept for Marquinhos as well. We then throw one up to Bremer. I've still got the verdict out on him. I think he's very good. He's definitely a decent centre-back, but I'm still not feeling everything for him. I think he's definitely one that he's a certain type, and if you like him, he's going to be brilliant. If you like the stopper role, could be worth it. I'm personally more of the defender role than anything. We then go into the easiest part. Tomore, incredible. Militao, incredible. Arejo, Rudiger, two of the best La Liga centre-backs you can go. Like, that trio is a monstrous trio. Van der Ven this year is the guy. Like, if he manages to continue and gets that team of the season, that is one of the #1. He could arguably potentially be on the way to kind of knock a Virgil van Dijk spot off. Like, genuinely, he is crazy good. And even his gold card, like, I think his gold card at this point, I want to say yesterday he was about 60,000. So he is just a breath of fresh air when it comes to being a gold centre-back. He is... Oh, of course, he's going to be out of packs, isn't he? 70,000. That is a great 82. It's a Ferland Mendy in centre-back form. Like, genuinely is truly that good. And now the inform, again, that one is just going to be even better. I want to know how much is he actually in inform. I've not seen. We got, to be fair, 220. That's a solid price for him. You really could argue that. But for me, I do think the Playstyle Plus is a massive one for this. And having these two here is just crazy. Saliba and Virgil are nuts together. We've got both of them. Obviously, it's put the loan in, but I've got both of them together. And they are no joke. Like, genuinely incredible centre-backs. So then throwing ourselves into CDM. Now this is definitely a category when it comes to CDM, box to box and cams on dependent how you play. Like there is, and to be fair, I think this list here with the 10, I still can't make my mind fully up with them. Once you get like past the first like 5, it's then like a who cares? Like genuinely, who want, like, Rodri could be number 6. It could be number 10 if you really wanted to. I think with Rodri, the pace is an absolute killer, like most cards. And to be honest, it's weird with Rodri. Like, I know he's not necessarily, well, what, he's 28? I'm 94, so yeah, he's about 28, or give or take, or maybe even, yeah, he's got to be 28. He is just crazy good on the ball. Gets in the tackles, gets in the physicality, but he will not outpace anybody. That's kind of the biggest thing that he doesn't have, and I don't get why. Like, I mean, maybe he's not the quickest player on the pitch, but I do think he's more than 66. Like, Declan Rice, he powers through a little bit, but I mean, it's not like he's sprinting down the wings. Like, I think they are both as kind of as quick as each other, and I know it's the whole point of not making him this crazy paced card, because that's how they upgrade, obviously. Like, we're going to pay for a 93 Rodri that's got 80 pace, 90 defending, 90 physical in 2 months' time. I guarantee it. Whereas then you look at a few of the low ones. We've got Andre, nice cheap option if you didn't want a gold and you wanted Champions League. Beautiful. Benesa always gets a nice upgrade, but also potential for the evolution. Declan Rice, very much like Rodri, maybe not the quickest on the ball, little bit blocky at times, maybe a bit more kind of static, but very good on the tackle and then the physicality side of stuff. So as a holding DM, he's brilliant. We saw it last year with Stanway. She is an absolute dynamite in the middle. 5'4", gives me the Conte vibes, who's 5'6". They're just everywhere. Decent amount of pace, good dribbling. Once you add the anchor on, she's absolutely away, or probably shadow, to be fair with her. And same with Conte. He's put in this year. He's got the intercept, which I absolutely love, and he's like a fresh new man. Genuinely fantastic. If you can get the links, obviously he's got the links to the Saudi if you really wanted to add someone there, like Neymar, Ronaldo, Benzema, Mane. There's so many names that you can go with there now that will get an upgrade in the future, a moment, a flashback, an inform of some kind. They will end up with them, and Conte is going to be a perfect link for them. Zachariah as well, big dog in the inform, absolutely love him there. But my top 3, Patry is just a breath of fresh air with it. The long ball pass is absolutely sublime. You add, obviously, a decent amount of stats to her. We've got her in the team at the moment. Again, it's put the loan in for some stupid reason. But we've got a anchor on her, I want to say. And then, obviously, Tchouameni and Tonali. Them two are my favourite. We've tried out Camavinga quite a lot, and Tchouameni was definitely the upgrade there. And then, obviously, Tonali, the best Prem CDM that we've got currently in terms of pace and overall, all-round. Definitely feels a little bit less static movement, but again, that could go kind of as a basis for a box-to-box more so. Like, realistically, Rodri is the better defender out of the two, but Tonali has got the better pace, and unfortunately, the game revolves around pace again. Then into the centre mids. Now, I definitely like these kind of bottom 3-4, like same as Andre, Van der Beek. Very good stats across the board. If you want a Champions League card, he's not expensive. He's lovely and cheap if you wanted some colour into your lineup. It's not just straight gold. Same with Alex Garcia. Again, beautiful card. It's very cheap, nice and affordable, and he's got himself a very good array of stats, which is just an easy one to get in. Also, he counts as a World Tour player, so he will help with that objective. If you need one World Tour player, you've not quite finished Sanchez, and you don't have to wait to Adama. So that works out in his favour as well. But we have got like the cheaper ones. Camavinga, like I say. Tchouameni is definitely the upgrade for him, but he's not terrible. He may not have the end product on him. Defensively is much better, but he's great at carrying the ball. I did like him and Conte linking up together. Conte being the holding DM that pushes up slightly. Camavinga and normally Bonmati are the two just running the midfield up and down. Works like an absolute dream. We have got Dunn, who's going to be perfect for links more so than anything, and some of the players are personally for that. You need a linked player for it. You can't have just one Rodman, one Swanson or Smith. You've got to have a couple in there until we get the radioactive promo or any sort of increase in chemistry. You need them links, and Dunn is definitely here for that. Same as DePaul, very standard across the board, nice and cheap, very affordable. But as we go up the list, you've got the likes of Barella and De Jong, I think are the step up in midfield that you need, especially as the box-to-box. But realistically, it comes down to Bonmati, Putellas, and then obviously Valverde. Everybody loves a bit of Valverde. He's very expensive, and he comes with the price tag of being incredible in the midfield. The stats are across the board. This year, more so than ever, we've seen a big downgrade in Kimmich and Goretzka, and Valverde has stepped to his true colours. Now, obviously, with Putellas and Bonmati, I think they do have different roles. So, like, for instance, she's lost her left mid or left wing, in fact. But Bonmati, much better as that cam role, whereas I do think Valverde is that solid box-to-box. Cams are definitely an interesting one because I've never really been a formation with a cam, unless I'm rocking the 4-3-3 fourth variation. Sometimes I do like that. This year it's not as much. It's very much 4 back, 5 back. Very little chance to be anything extreme. I normally like a flat midfield if I'm trying to go for that, and it just really works with kind of like a box-to-box DM and then 2 very good strikers. But we have got a lot of good cams, from Lavelli and Dabina, to both being incredible with their 5-star versus the 4-4. Obviously, Lavelli being very, very cheap. We throw it up to a Bernardo Silva. You've got Bruno, Bernardo, Odegaard, KDB, all being that same sort of level in the Premier League, and all not necessarily being expensive as well. Very cheap and affordable if you are looking for that passer of the ball. Now, I do think De Bruyne's passing most definitely puts him in that level, if I'm being honest. We've obviously got the likes of Cherokee, we've got Dybala, Musiala, Wirtz, and the number one boy in Bellingham. I think that's quite an easy one, to be honest, when it comes to it. He will always be number one. If he's not a cam number one, he's going to be the box-to-box number one. But this year, I think at this point, and I know he does have the 91 as well, he is going to be number one in the midfield at this point, and naturally he's going to get more and more cards. He will get upgraded in that road to the knockout because it's Real Madrid. Like, they're not, well, if they don't manage to get any upgrades in that Champions League version, then they need to sack every single player because their team is stacked. But when we look at like the Musiala and Wirtz, they're coming in now, they're taking it on. Obviously Wirtz with the incisive, which I think as a cam role at this point is just, it's valueless. Like, it's so good to have in the team. It's why, personally, with De Bruyne, like Rodri, does not have any pace. 67 is just criminal, but the passing alone is outrageous. And Odegaard has very similar, but I think the 94 passing on him is just so good. Dybala definitely needs the upgrade, but the first touch plus, he's just very good at dribbling. For me, he's definitely a perfect sort of player there. And then we look into the left wings. Now, again, we've got a star-studded lineup that are just very decent cards. Like, you've got some nice ones. You've got an SBC in St. Max. I think, for me, his dribbling was just on the next sort of level. We've got the 2 Americans, like we said we've done. Swanson, Rodman, both very, very good cards. Now, both of them can play striker if you wanted to have a different position for both of them. Whether I think both of them are incredible as a striker is kind of a different point. They both, well, I suppose she does have the false 9+, which, if you are running, could potentially be a tactic that you would go with. That'd just be a different story in terms of all of the roles, the formations, the playstyle pluses. It's going to come to a point where you've just got to really nail down what you actually like and go with them players, because we haven't got that luxury at the moment. Like, we look at, for instance, someone like a Vinny. We've got the inside forward plus. Now, that's going to be fantastic until then we don't get the playstyle plus that we want with him. Granted, he's got quick step right now. He's pretty in the meta, hence why he's number one. Inside forward tends to be quite good for the left wing. The quick step plus for a lot of the L1 speed boost tends to be quite good right now. So Vinny is in that category of one of the better cards you can go with. With Son, you look at his left wing, he hasn't got no pluses there. Inside forward on a left mid if you really wanted to. He's got advanced forward plus, which works. So again, you're kind of having to be shifted around in different positions. So it is one of them things that you've really got to kind of see what you like as a formation, if you even really want to do the tactics. It's not necessarily a thing you have to do, but definitely in the top divisions, it's going to get very sweaty with a lot of them. We've obviously got a Leao here who's just incredible with a rapid plus. Neymar, to be honest, a little bit let down from him. We packed him day one, managed to get him out before he really dropped in price. Like, he's now, where's my mouse? He was coming in, I think, at about, I sold him at about 210, 220, which I think he was already dropping. I think I packed him and he was about 300. And then now I'm pretty sure he's sub 100, I want to say. He's currently 95,000, which for a Neymar at the start of a game, regardless if he's in the Saudi League or not, is just crazy. It just tells you the levels that he's dropped. Nico Williams, unbelievable with the Rapid Plus. He is due a Road to the Knockout SBC as well. And obviously Luis Diaz is another one that is a fan favourite. Also with another upgrade, but I would say definitely looking at the gold is going to be more beneficial at the moment. Now when it comes to the right wings, I've got a few more than 10, just because I wanted to mention like a Sane for the Bundesliga and Diaby for the Quick Step. Even though they don't put themselves in that top 10, they are both worth having a look at a minimum. We have got Lauren James coming in the right wing, mainly as well. She's a 5-star, 4-star, 5'9", decent stats. I mean, there's nothing to not love there. Saka, on the other hand, great upgrade for him. Decent 87. I think he could have gone one more, to be honest. I mean, if Foden's 88, I think Saka could be up there, in my opinion. I wouldn't necessarily put him on the same level as Salah, because obviously Salah's technically on a downgrade compared to his peak, whereas Saka's never been this high. What was he? He was 86 last year, I'm pretty sure. Completely forgot what he was. So he was, 86 last year, 82 the year before, 80 the year before that. So it's Saka's always on the upgrade, whereas Salah's technically around his peak. Obviously he's had a 91. He was 89 last year, 90 the year before, 89 as well. He's kind of been on that level, so it's always an interesting one to see when a card is floating around the top, whereas Saka's just getting better. So I can understand them slowly progressing him, but I would have liked to have maybe seen an 88 from him, in my opinion. Chiesa, incredible. The pace is just an absolute demon. Obviously, we've got the likes of Messi in here as well. Even without the pace, Messi's just fantastic with the ball. His control, passing, dribbling, even his shot is just magical. So it really doesn't matter. It's the same for Ronaldo. They both are still very vital when it comes to it. And naturally, as we get to the end of the game, they're all bound to get 99s. Like, you just know they are going to. Foden this year looks unbelievable. Again, could be ranked more towards a cam. Obviously, his plus is in right wing, so that's kind of the issue that I'm having with him. I'd love him as a cam more so than anything, but the role plus he's got is going to be in right wing, so you are forced to play him in that role to have that sort of ability, whereas you can go with the playmaker and it just isn't as good, but then you just go to a cam that does have the plus. So at the minute, it's a very annoying one. We've got Diane, we've got Dembele, who's obviously got an upgrade as well, but even just this gold version of him, a 5'5" Dembele is outrageous. Then we've got the likes of Rodrigo. Salah He's good. He is very good. He's definitely not as good as I'd like him to be. I think the finesse is definitely a saver there, but it's not necessarily as fully broken as it was last year. Inside forward plus again, very nice there. But for me, Hansen takes the key, takes the cake here. To be honest, she is just outrageously good. 5'5", has the links with all of the Barca ladies. She's got the role plus as well. Trickster is what it is, but I mean, it works, but she is just so good again this year. Which then leads us to the strikers. Now, obviously, I've got Nunez up here. He is just outrageous. Like, I love him. He's so good as a starting striker. I as much as I do hope he has that career that everybody wants him to have, he gets them in them ratings, because we see like an 86, 88 Nunez. He'll be the next coming of Haaland, to be honest. But as an 82, cheap, affordable, a fantastic, a must first-time striker buy, because he's got everything. He's got the pace, controlled lengthy, decent shooting. You whack a finisher on him, you're absolutely fine. He's got the physical, the physical bout as well. Rolls plus. Poacher is quite decent as a striker. He's just perfect in that role. So he is just one always worth mentioning. Same as Danjuma and also Taurum this time round. Both of them, again, nice and cheap, affordable. If you're not trying to go for the absolute top of the top, them two strikers like Garcia are well worth having a look at a minimum. But then we look at the actual strikers. There's some big boys here. We've obviously got Isaac, we've got Watkins, we've got the new Peugeot, Griezmann, Kerr, another Martinez, Alvarez is the road to the knockout, Sophia Smith, Haaland, and obviously Mbappe. Mbappe, with what, 4.5 million, whatever he is now? I don't know what he's dropped to, but he is 3.8. I mean, it's coming down, but I don't think it's coming down very quickly, to be honest. He is just stupid. And to be honest, so is Haaland. Haaland is an absolute freak. He's so strong in the air, on the floor, gets the shot off, gets the head off, the acrobatic. He's that striker at the moment. Obviously, with him, he's mostly lengthy as well, which is going to add that nice kind of long through ball. He's going to beat them over time. Sophia Smith brings her 4-star, 5-star. Again, stunning striker. We would have loved to have had that Alex Morgan link, because you could have had like a Dunn, a Lavelli. You could have then had Swanson, Rodman, Alex Morgan, Sophia Smith. The actual American attacking team would have been stupid. Again, whether we see Alex Morgan feature in a flashback a moments, otherwise it might be next year that she potentially gets that icon that she wants, or maybe a hero. I've not really followed the career too much, so whether we see her as an icon, I feel like the name definitely speaks that level, but again, without really watching it, I don't know. But when we look at the rest of the strikers, there is obviously gold versions of each of them. Alvarez comes in relatively cheap as a gold. Martinez does the same, even though he's 1 rating less. Pajor with a rapid plus will always be a fantastic starter striker. Watkins, to be honest, only at 100 and something K, well worth an investment in the 87, especially after their huge win against Bayern Munich. Already putting Watkins on a potential upgrade already. You got to think, if you pay the 100 and whatever it is coins for this, but less than that, you're looking at 75,000 to potentially get an 89 Watkins. I mean, that is well worth having a risk at, to be honest. And then the likes of Sammy Kerr and Griezmann with some decent pace / shooting, but both of them having the finesse shot just to add that bit of flair is never a bad option. So let me know down below what you think. Let me know who you've got out of this team. Is there any top one that you would have changed? But other than that, make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.